diner here was his retirement plan. He wanted a place to play music that wasn't a bar.
And this name of this place is called Archie's Diner as well.
Yes. And the diner itself is a Pullman dining car. And the diner has been here since 1949.
Okay.
So it's 60 years old.
And officially, when did Archie become the owner of it?
In 1985.
Okay, 1985.
Yeah. And he restored it, and he got recognition from the city from the museum for restoring it.
And what was it like opening up a diner at 1985? You know, how did you guys feel? How did the city feel about you guys opening up the diner?
Well, we didn't have to be in any rush about it or anything, and so we just kind of took our time with it. And at the point that we opened it up, it wasn't something that was something he had to be stressed about, because it was Archie's retirement, and he wanted to be here to play music and coach his teams.
Did Archie ever play music here at the diner?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Okay.
That's his Hammond organ there in the corner. And they don't make those anymore. They stopped making those in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's a real art to be able to play one of those, because there's so many, you know. He would sit and he'd play one song, and then he'd pull stops and push buttons, and he'd play another that would give a totally different sound.
Now, was that the only instrument he played, or was there other instruments involved?
Oh, he played guitar. He played guitar in Omaha. In fact, one of that guitar that's up on the wall over there, that's one of his guitars from way back. And then there's a real nice one in the other room there in the trophy case.
Okay. Yeah. That's really interesting. And he sung as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is there any questions the team would like to ask about Archie Diner?
Laurie, would you like to tell us a little bit about the startup of the diner, and you know, how you guys, who first brought the diner to Sioux City, and just give us a little bit more history about the diner coming to Sioux City, and then how you guys became the owners and all the things that you put into the diner.
Oh, there's a lot of history here, and a lot of people come in and tell me stories about. In fact, Archie came down here and ate here when Dick owned this. It was originally brought here by Dick and Lois Myers in 1949, and he had operated a restaurant down here I think on Panoa Street, and he bought this and brought it here. He cooked behind the counter here, and people would walk in that door at the end and order their food and come sit down over here. He retired in 76, and then there were a lot of people in and out here, and then Archie bought it in 1985, and they fixed it up, and he opened it up he hired his help in the beginning, and he got tired of people not coming, or, you know, people being in and out, and so he finally invited me to come down here and work with him in 97. And so we spent those 3 years we were down here Monday through Friday, and then we'd leave here and go to practice or whatever team he was doing, and weekends were games. And in fact, Kirk Heinrich played basketball for Archie when he was in 8th grade, and when he played for him, Archie put them in every tournament that they could be in. And we were in both leagues. We were in the East and the West leagues. We'd eat, or we'd play out there, we'd land here for burgers and fries, and then we'd go out to West High night. And the kids had no idea that Archie could play and sing. And so the first time we come down here, they were all sitting at the counter waiting for their food, and he went over there and sat down, and he played Big Fat Mama. And you know, with junior high guys, you know, they were just, they were laughing and just, you know, but it really broke the ice for them. They just, you know, then they were, you know, behind the counter handing food to one another and having a good time. So.
Can you talk a little bit more about Archie and the segregated times that he had?
I know of a few of the experiences that he had as he was growing up. When he was in Omaha, he and his friends would go to the Roseland Theater, and they would have to sit in the balcony. And, you know, when Archie was young, he really didn't think anything about it. You know, for him and his little buddies,
Yeah.
they were just up there.
They didn't
you know.
understand really.
Yeah, they didn't understand what that was all about, you know. And so they'd be up there and they'd be throwing popcorn down on people. You know. But it really didn't, they didn't understand what that meant until years later.
And how was his reaction when he understood?
Mostly he wondered why it had to be that way. He ran into, you know, it was one, he wondered why, and he always, it was in the back of his mind, but he didn't really dwell on it. You know, he was there, but he didn't really spend a whole lot of time being angry about it or letting it stop him from doing things. When he was in college, the team traveled a lot, and he played all three sports there too.
Okay.
And when he'd go to Tarkio, Missouri, he wouldn't be able to play football. He'd have to sit out on the sidelines because Missouri's law said he couldn't play. When he went to Denver, he wasn't allowed to stay in the hotel with the team. They were in this great big huge fantastic hotel that they should have all been able to stay at.
Yeah.
And he had to take money from his coach and go stay at 5 Points, a place they call it 5 Points. And
what was the difference between that great hotel and 5 Points, you know?
well,
Was 5 Points a great hotel to stay at?
no, but it was an area of town. 5 Points was an area of Denver. It was an area of town. And for Archie, it was more that he was by himself. He was separated from his team, the guys he played sports with, that he hung out with, that he did things with, and he had to be separated from them in this just because he was in a certain place. And when he got back on campus after this particular event happened, when he got back on campus, there was a young man there who talked to him about quitting the team and said, "We'll put this in the Omaha World Herald, and you know, we'll make an issue out of it." And Archie said no, because he didn't want to quit his team, and he knew that his coach felt bad about it. And eventually, over those 4 years that he played in college, the university changed their policies and took those schools off of their schedule. And so, even though it was a slow process, Archie felt like he contributed because he had the patience to wait and to deal with the situations as they came up. And so he saw some good come out of it.